Welcome back to the greatest show on the internet. It's time to sort your shit out.
Sort your shit out.
Okay, this question comes from Matt M, based out of Sydney, Australia, and he writes, Dear Matt, I've been a working musician and creative my whole life, and this constant stream of creative AI content is really bumming me out. Are we just going to be replaced by robots? Does anyone care? Won't somebody think of the children? Great question, Matt, and also, great name.
Sort your shit out.
Okay, let's start with what are we doing here? Nobody seems to want this. I can't help but feel that this new AI technology just keeps getting thrust upon us and nobody's asking for it except for the people who are going to make heaps of money from it. And apparently those same people rule the world. So I guess we just have to take it. And I love technology. I always have. I remember when the internet first became a thing publicly for normal people like us. And it was fun and we all welcomed it with open arms because, it was educational, it was interesting, it helped us connect with people in our community but also in the world at large, and we could finally see boobies whenever we wanted without having to go to the local skate park and dig around the bushes to find a well-loved magazine that someone left there. And the next advancement was social media and smartphones, and again everyone was like, shit, this is sick, let's go. It's like the internet but in your pocket. And you can connect with people worldwide at all times. You have all the information you could ever need with you at all times. And you could pretend like you were drinking a beer out of your phone. Remember that? That was fun. Anyway, the point is that in my lifetime so far, I feel like most new technologies have been welcomed with open arms and we've been excited about it. And we're like, fuck yeah, we're only a couple years away from hoverboards now. Let's go. And now we have AI. And even though all the advertising and all the powers that be are telling us that it's the greatest thing and we all need to adopt it and we all need to learn it and bring it into our lives, no one I know is actually stoked about it. No one's like, yeah, fuck yeah, AI, please give me more of that. Maybe at first we were when they were like, it's going to cure all illness and you're not ever going to have to work again. But that pretty quickly turned into haha, we were just kidding about, helping humanity. And now you're not going to be able to work again probably because AI is going to take your job. And it's also going to take a lot of the fun and meaningful things about being a human, like creativity and expression and the arts. Okay, so music and AI. There's so many different angles to come at this from, and a lot has been said already by people who are a lot smarter than me. So I'm going to try to not just regurgitate the same shit that everyone else has said, and then not give them any credit or do any work, because that's kind of what AI music is. Okay, point one, AI music sucks. Now, I know that it can make stuff that sounds cool, and it just gets better and better super quickly, so it's going to get to the point really soon, if we're not there already, where we can't tell the difference between AI music and real music. So I'm not necessarily saying that it makes bad music. What I am saying is that it sucks because it strips away all of the important parts, I believe, of music making. The human expression, the individual voice, the uniqueness that a person's life experience brings to the art. The actual process of making music, which can sometimes take years as you discover more about yourself and the world and how you relate to everything. Most of that, if not all of that, is gone when you create music with AI. AI music steals from real artists without compensation or credit. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. People dedicate their lives to the craft. Maybe they're successful, maybe they're not. But if they've released stuff online, which pretty much everyone has, that has now been taken, put into a data set, and that's where AI music comes from. And it was taken without their permission. And an argument here I see online is often well, all musicians and all people are influenced by other musicians, so what's the difference? There's a fucking huge difference. To be influenced by another artist is so often an incredibly deep connection between yourself and the art. Trying to understand how they do what they do, why they do what they do, and just being engrossed in their catalog for years, sometimes an entire lifetime. Learning lessons through their lyrics or their music or their movement, and then it changes as you grow as a human as well, right? We all have these songs that are so meaningful for us at a point in our life. and then we look back on it later and then it means something completely different. Like, you cannot tell me that's the same thing. And yeah, maybe the way I describe it is a little bit airy-fairy and seems a bit bullshit, but like, that's the experience of people who do it. You know, we're talking about life, man. We're talking about living, not fucking robots. Fucking robots. That's another video. All right, point 3. Generative AI as a whole doesn't really require any skill and is not the same as actually making a creative piece of work. Again, I feel that's pretty self-explanatory. It's just not. People's response to that is often like, yeah, well, it's going to be about taste. The next wave of musicians, it's all going to be about taste rather than skill. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, you know whose taste I personally trust, that I want to hear? The old dude that's been playing saxophone in dive bars since the 70s. I want to hear the taste of like an ex-heroin addict who's been living in the desert for 4 years because they talked to God on a bender. And they've also been playing guitar since they were 7. You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear some real human shit. I want to hear some depth, not some like child who's just writing a couple sentences on their laptop. Also, I don't mean to shit on children with laptops. I don't honestly mean to shit on anyone making music, AI or not. Far be it from me to stop someone from like having fun and doing their best. But there has to be a distinction between AI music and actual music, and that's because of point 4. Okay, some of the stuff has been airy-fairy, but this is real and it's a bit fucked and it's happening like right now. So right now, all music, all digital music online and stuff, it's all in the same bucket. AI music and actual music is often treated the same. The way that a lot of musicians and creatives make their money is online now, right? Like social media, streaming platforms, sync, ads, soundtracks, digital media. All of that is in the same bucket as AI music. So again, the person who spent their life gaining these skills, now they're in the same playing field as someone who is using generative AI. And your response to that might be, well, sucked in. That's your fault for thinking that what you were doing was important. No one gives a shit, old man. You should have picked a different career path. And you know what? AI music is even better than the shit you make. Okay, fine. Let's say that's true. Let's say the arts and musicianship and human creativity as a whole isn't actually as important as I believe it is. Creative workers don't deserve to be paid or taken seriously. Get a real fucking job, you hippie. If all of that is true, my question is, what happens next? Which brings me to point number 5. Won't somebody think of the children? All right, let's take this to a logical conclusion, I think. Let's say we've got rid of any financial incentive to make music or art. Most people don't seem to care and are happy with AI creativity taking over human creativity. Let's say that happens. In that world, why would anyone bother to take the time to learn the skills to make music or to make art, to make something worthwhile, something amazing and original? What then? You know, like, why would a child in school be like, oh, I want to learn how to play an instrument when there's no possible future in it? And I'm not talking about people doing it for fun or for a hobby or like a brain exercise. That's different. I'm talking about the game changers throughout history. I'm talking about the people that have made like international movements that have changed and reached our hearts and souls, like bringing people together, pushing boundaries, changing the game. You think that stuff happens by accident? I mean, maybe, sure, sometimes, but most of the time it's because people have dedicated their entire life to the pursuit of artistic excellence. What happens to the people who were going to spend 6 hours a day in a practice room learning their scales, amongst other things? The idea that we can potentially lose this progression, which we've had throughout all human history, and we lose it because of this new technology, that makes me incredibly sad. If music and the arts just continuously get more and more devalued and nobody gives a shit, unless people take it seriously, it stops evolving and it stops growing. And I think that's a real shame for everyone. Look, who knows what will actually happen? Like, recently I've been leaning towards doom and gloom with it, but that's just because of my own experiences and, you know, seeing what happens in the industry and stuff. And to me, it seems very unlikely that artists are going to come out better because of this, but I could be wrong. You know, maybe it'll end up with some sweet universal basic income where we don't need to work as much and we can follow the things that make our hearts sing, you know, whatever that is. We have time to pursue these arts or anything else that we want because we're not trying just to like survive. That would be sick, wouldn't it? Or, you know, maybe the technology won't become all about greed and power. Maybe the AIs will become so smart that they can just fucking take over, but in a nice way, you know? All right, I think that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I barely know what I'm talking about at the best of times. So if you have other thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to know what everyone else is thinking about this. I'm in my own little fucking thing. You're probably in your own little fucking thing. Let's talk about it. That'd be fun. Also, if you've got any of your own shit that you want to sort out, leave a comment, send me a DM, and if I make another video, I'll do that. Be good to yourself, be good to others, and let love prevail. We'll fucking see you next time.